And welcome to EV Marketplace. Yes, on a New Year's Eve, I'm Roscoe, and welcome to EV Marketplace, brought to you by AmazingEV, our very own used EV marketplace. And yeah, for those of you watching a bit later on, it's New Year's Eve here in Sydney. It's 6:30 on a Wednesday. 6:30 on Wednesday is when you'll find us from now on. So 6:30 on New Year's Eve is where we are. We'll be out celebrating a bit later on, but tonight we're talking used EVs and only used EVs. This is for anyone looking to buy, to sell, anyone in the market for a used EV. This market is about to take off, and we are going to cover it 6:30 every week from now on, starting tonight. If you're watching this later on, Happy New Year to you. It's been a great year, and we're looking forward to an amazing year next year. But later on, we're going to cover some predictions. Mrs. Amazing will be joining us, and we'll have a look at some of our predictions, wrapping up this year and having some predictions for next year, because, wow, what a year in EVs, and you just don't know what's going to happen. And we'll take a stab at it and see where we think it's going. But tonight, we're highlighting this show with our top 10, a pretty eclectic top 10, really, of used EVs. And last year, we did a new EV countdown with some incredible new EVs, but our focus now is fully on used EVs. That's where we're at. And so we've taken the top 10 used EVs from 2025, presented to you 1 to 10, and of course we've got a winner. And this is based on our criteria, some pretty discretionary criteria. Our panel of judges at home base AmazingEV. Of course, AmazingEV is our own dedicated used EV marketplace where you can buy and sell, list a car, and you'll get some pretty special treatment as an EV owner, for sure. But let's dive straight into one of the used EVs that's come on the market just recently. And, well, it's a car that has been outstanding. Sometimes it's got polarizes people, but I'm talking about a car that's coming on the used EV market because of a catalyst like this one. Here's the new Performance Model Y, and it's got everything. It's got FSD, it's got all the upgrades, it's got the new style, it's got the performance. It's also got the price tag as well. And so we thought, what if we could find a better deal for a Performance Model Y? They're going to come onto the market now as new owners trade up to these new ones. The used Performance Model Ys are coming onto the market now. And so we thought, let's go and see if we can find one, all right?
We need a guy with a Tesla Model Y. Now I'm a guy with a Tesla Model Y.
And this is a beautiful car. It's fantastic. We found this one out in Dural, not far from Sydney. We went for a drive the other day, met the owner, took it for absolutely incredible. The performance is amazing. Dural's a beautiful country suburb way out from Sydney now. We bought some honey, but focus on this car because 2 engines, incredible range, incredible speed, incredible performance. At 55 grand, this is a performance car that might cost 2 or 3, 4 times what you'd pay. This is the sort of car that's coming onto the market now. The new Model Y is the catalyst, and this is the sort of thing that we'll be offering. And this is a great deal for a used EV. Don't forget this one. Take a look at it on the AmazingEV website because this is what we're talking about. But now let's head straight to our inbox. We put the call out last week to anyone who was interested in new EVs, had some questions or just wanted some help. And we got this message back during the week from a buyer. His name's Paul. And this is the sort of messages we get. This is the sort of messages we love to get, asking us to help with buying a new Tesla, new model, new Nissan Leaf. And look, we'll be talking more about the Leaf because they're not gone. Amazingly, we're up to the 3rd or 4th. The new Leaf coming is the 4th iteration of the Leaf already. He's looking for something pretty special. He had some pretty specific questions about it. It was way beyond me. And although we cover a lot of cars, we've got people out there who know a hell of a lot more than us. I put him in touch with Anthony Day in WA. He's a colleague of ours, heavily involved with the Nissan Leaf community. Anthony talked to him and gave him a lot of information that might help him on his journey and agreed to look for a car for him. This is the sort of service that we love to do. This is the sort of thing that we like to create at AmazingEV. That's what I'm here for. You can contact me on roscoe@amazingev.com.au. Text me, email me, let me know if you're looking for something, and we'll keep an eye out. This is the sort of thing we love to do. And this is the sort of thing we had in mind when we created Amazing EV. If we haven't got the car listed, we'll see if we can find one for you. And then this lovely email from Ross Hutchison. Now, Ross, we helped Ross with selling his Performance Model 3 a couple of years ago now, maybe 18 months ago. And he's come back with a couple of questions now. And this is, again, we'll have a Q&A section, and from our inbox, we'll make sure we cover your questions. These are the sorts of things, as well as the comments from you as you watch along. Send us your emails, send us your questions, and we'll cover as much as we can. But a couple of great questions from Ross here, because he's hit on a very interesting point. One of my bugbears, in fact, and I don't want to be part of an industry, promoting an industry about used EVs and the circular economy when in 10 years' time, there's nowhere for these batteries to go after these cars have had their second or third life. We want to make sure, as part of this circle, that these batteries are recycled, or they're repurposed, or they go into homes like they're proposing now. And this question was, have you come across anyone who's repurposed a used EV battery as a backup home battery? I've seen them advertised. I haven't seen a battery in situ, but I believe it's been done. We'll find someone in the EV community online, someone who's got some more experience in the home charging area. We'll touch base to see if we can answer this one, because I'm not sure if I've seen a battery from a car actually be installed in a home. But certainly that's one of our issues. That's something we want to take on. We want to get involved with that. I want to make sure these batteries are getting a second and third life and being repurposed or recycled in a way that doesn't leave them out there. Ross also goes on to say, what is the cheapest EV on the AmazingEV website, and what is the most expensive? And of course, one of the cheapest is still the AmazingEV, and we've sold a couple of these through AmazingEV. It really is a beautiful little car. It's got, it's got some furbles, it's got some issues you've got to keep an eye out for, but a fantastic little car. I saw them around inner city Sydney probably, well, over 10 years ago. The Sydney City Council bought some, and I've got to say, I didn't know what it was all about. It was before I had the light switched on for me. It's before I had my EV aha moment, because I didn't get it. Now I get it. I've known a few people who've owned these cars, and we've driven one, we've seen them. If you can find one that can be saved, and you can find one that is able to be recycled or repurposed or have a battery changed, these are worth keeping on the road, because they are a fantastic little car. This was along with the Nissan Leaf, one of the first EVs in Australia over 10, 12 years ago now. And Mitsubishi, we know you know how to do it. You did it with the AmazingEV, and you could do it again now. So this will go down in Australian history as a great little EV. And as for the most expensive, well, some of you might remember we did have a Rolls-Royce Spectre on the site for sale about a year ago now. That was over $1 million. People were trying to get $1 million, close to full retail back for that car way back in the day. And yeah, believe it or not, we had one. I drove it, I sat in it. Extraordinary car. Would I own one now? Would I buy one now? No doubt, yeah, if I could afford it. It's one of those things. I'd like to have an AmazingEV in one car park and a Spectre in the other. But yeah, mostly now we're getting cars like Taycans at 150, 160, 180. They're probably the most expensive cars, and that's the sort of thing we're getting at the moment. Do you have any news, Ross says, on the Xiaomi, when Xiaomi is likely to enter Australian market with the SU7 or the YU7? And once again, both those cars, a couple of my personal favourites as well. Look at what this company's done. And if you don't know Xiaomi, Google it. You'll know it shortly. If you follow EVs, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And Joseph's just joined us, and Stan's just joined us, and Happy New Year to you guys. Thanks for coming on board. Good to see you. Stan, we'll have a chat to hopefully in the new year again. Thanks for joining us on New Year's Eve. Ross has said the Xiaomi. I love the Xiaomi. They are incredible cars. What have they? They've done so much in such a short space of time. But whether we'll see it in Australia, hard to say. I think they've already sold out probably someone could tell me online whether they've sold out or not already in China for probably the next 12 months. They're already up to the second iteration, and I don't think we'll see it in Australia for a while, either as a direct import or a grey import, or until they start making right-hand drive models, which probably via some right-hand drive markets like Thailand. I doubt we'll see these cars in Australia, and it's the same for any EVs. Until we see the right-hand drive models overseas, either manufactured in Thailand or for the Thai market, or something similar to that, or another right-hand drive market, I don't think we'll be seeing it, unfortunately, in Australia as a left-hand drive anytime soon. Imagine, though, what the deluge of cars we'd have if China was right-hand drive. We would see some fantastic cars, some absolutely amazing cars. So I, I would love to see them here too. A couple of my favourites as well. But this is the sort of thing. Pitch those ideas, pitch those questions, and pitch. Let me know. We'll talk to them. We'll get some views from the message board as well as to exactly. If I haven't got the answer, you'll find it somewhere else. There's plenty of experts around the country that've got the answers if I don't have them. Now, keep those messages coming. And welcome back to the EV Marketplace. And now it's time for our top 10 used EVs of 2025. A brand new countdown that, look, I don't think anybody else is doing this. No one's looking at the used EV market as closely as we are. But we are fascinated how this is growing. The range is growing. The cars are getting cheaper. Talk about price parity with ICE cars. We're not looking forward to it. It's here now. And there's a lot more cars in that 25 to 35 bracket. Just make incredible sense now. But let's get straight into it. Of course, top 10, we're starting off at number 10. Of course, it's got to be the Nissan Leaf in the top 10. And it still makes the top 10. And our criteria is based on fully discretionary opinion of myself and Mrs. Amazing. The cars we like, the cars that represent the best value. It's something to do with sales, something to do with likability, something to do with this car just needs to be out there for as long as possible amongst the market. And at 12,000, maybe 10 if you're lucky from the ACT, and shout out to the ACT who have got the highest take-up rate of new EVs, and there's going to be so many more used EVs there, so much quicker. Shout out to ACT. This car's down there, private owner. This is live on the internet at the moment, and it's got to be in our top 10 at number 10. We just love the Leaf. Just there's hardly anything still out there. Forget about the price, even the size, the compactness, the usability, just to go back to the shops and back and forwards. Check it out with some experts if you need some help to find one. There's always some bits and pieces. There's some ones that have come in directly from Japan, as well as the locally sold ones via Nissan. The Good Car Company did some fantastic work bringing in these cars for quite some time. All those cars are outstanding. They had the highest quality imports, and there's some great cars around from direct import from Japan. Keep an eye out. But Nissan Leaf, you're in our top 10 for quite some time, and hopefully a long time. Next up at number 9. This is one that we perhaps might surprise a few people. Not that popular per se, but for those that know it and drive it and love it, this is an outstanding car, because before the Ioniq 5, before the Ioniq 6, this was just the Ioniq. Corolla-ish indoors and outdoors, just pretty, well, sort of trendy in the nose, but sort of looked like it was going to be something else. But this car is incredibly good value. It just dropped down from a dealer, down from 23 down to 20,000. This is price parity with an ICE car. This has done only 30,000 Ks in 5 years, almost 6 years now. The range on these cars is what impresses people most. Owners just love the range. 373 without a lot of the battery management that we've got these days. Just a really handy, easy car. A bit slow on the charging, but for around town and just a small trips, can't go past the Ioniq. Original Ioniq. This is a deal. This is a fantastic car. Coming in at number 8. Of course, the BYD, and no one had heard of BYD 3 years ago. BYD 803 jumped onto the scene. The Dolphin hasn't made our top 10, not as popular and just doesn't appeal as much. But the Seal jumped on at number 8 because it's a direct Model 3 competitor. There's no doubt about it. It's a fantastic car, brilliant inside and out. And again, 39,409, almost $40,000 for 2025 BYD. This one had done only about 4,500 Ks, less than a year old, base model. But as soon as the Model 3 came out, this one came out within a few years later. It was sedans, I think, are on the wane. It's probably not where the market's going, but BYD had to have a competitor for the Model 3. So this is it, and a brilliant car. A lot of people have owned one. A lot of people have enjoyed one. Don't see that many around, but still selling pretty well. But yeah, I just think the sedan market is on the wane a little bit. So this represents fantastic value and a brilliant car. Number 7, of course, this makes no sense whatsoever. The Porsche Taycan is up there in our top 10. Look, it was our EV of the year, new EV of the year last year. I just love them. I think if I could have squeezed the 130 odd thousand that Porsche authorized Porsche dealership might take, I would definitely have one. Class Porsche, all Porsche. I can't help myself on this one. Beautiful looking car. It would have to be in the garage, maybe somewhere between the AmazingEV and the Spectre, but maybe not that practical, but just, yeah, as a touring car, a driver's car to go out and have some fun driving an EV. Maybe it might be a toss-up between the Model Y Performance and this one, but yeah, the Model Y Performance would win on price for sure. This one, look, I love the Porsche and I love the Taycan, so we snuck it in, even though it's not on the official top 10 sellers used EVs. I snuck it in there because it's a personal favourite, and just quietly, it's a personal favourite of Mrs. Amazing's as well. Next up on the list, of course, the MG4 makes the top 10, and I'm going to be sad to see this one go because the new one's out, and we've all had a reasonable look at it. And if you haven't seen it, Google it. It's not quite the same. This one came out and it was different. We had a week with it, and we lent it to some people, and everyone loved it. It was still not up to European class inside, but it was cute. It was stylish. It was different. And everyone knows MG is not doing that well in their home market, but they've done well in the UK and they're doing well here. This is an MG Excite 51, again, the base model, $26,000. And yeah, maybe you can get a new one still on a run out for 30-ish. They've had some great deals. This is a great looking car, only 24,000 Ks. Beautiful car, and we're going to have a soft spot for the MG4 as well. It was one of the first few that we drove as well. One of my first press cars. Love the MG4. So just in terms of sentimental value, it's still selling well on the new car market. Yeah, very interesting to see how its replacement does, because it's a very different looking car. And this was edgy, this was stylish. I love it. It's made our number 6. Another MG at number 5, and the MG ZS EV. And again, look at the price of this one, $16,000 for 2021, done 81,000 Ks. Now, this was a petrol / hybrid / EV platform, but it's got pockets of interest around the country. It's just a reliable, decent, small EV if you wanted to get into an EV. At $16,000, unbelievable price. This is how, again, a private sale on the website, on a marketplace, or instantly live. I took this last couple of days. This is live. This is real. This was for sale. Michelle, if you're out, sorry, Michael, if you're out there, look, hopefully we can send a buyer your way. A brilliant car. There's no doubt about it. This is absolutely amazing. I think Chris Vanderstock's still got a ZS EV. We might try and get him on because I hear about his ownership experience. This is a brilliant car. Loved it. And I really think that, yeah, these are going to continue to sell well. Again, style-wise, and it's a boxy, small family SUV, easy to park, maybe a natural successor to the Nissan Leaf maybe, but just a brilliant package overall. And again, it's been replaced by the MG S5, I think, but again, without too much fanfare. I think Tom bought one for his family. But again, not a lot of fanfare, not a lot of advertising on that one. Be interesting to see if that has the same sort of success. But this will go down in folklore as one of the established pillars of, and a lot of following behind this one. So we're big fans of the MG. Thanks, Ross. Good to see you on board. Lovely. Hope you're having a quiet, relaxing New Year's Eve and maybe get a view of the fireworks a bit later on. We'll be home with Mrs. Amazing a bit later on. And we'll be having a small glass of non-alcoholic champagne as well, just to see out this new year and look forward to next year as well. This one is not in my top 10, but as a wild card, again, a quirky little car that should have been more popular, was probably too expensive, but starting to get reasonably priced on the used EV market now. 45,990 at a dealer, still too much for post-it note yellow. It's cute, it's attractive. It's cute little car, great little size. We've driven one as well. Amazing finish, and Google Android operating system. A few bugs, hopefully they fixed them. Just a great little car, and this, again, well made, looks stylish, Chinese built, European design. Fantastic little car. I put this in as a wild card because I think it's probably on my list if I was going out to buy something in this bracket before I bought new, to have a look at this one to see if it shaped up. This one a couple of years old, but you could probably get them newer now. And this one had only done low Ks as well. Maybe they weren't as attractive to people, but yeah, starting to come on the used EV market now and representing really good buying, I think. Moving on to number 4, and we're getting into the top 4 now. And of course, here's Stan's Polestar 2, because the Polestar is an amazing used car. To me, it was an amazing new car, still selling in lower numbers. Polestar 4 is doing well. Polestar 2 is a brilliant car. You can step out of a European car, step straight into a Polestar 2. You feel absolutely at home. Brilliantly built. The first EV I ever drove was a Polestar 2 and loved it. And we thought we were going to go in that direction, but we didn't. As you know, we ended up buying a Tesla Model Y, but still love this car and starting to get really attractive on the used EV market as well. There's going to be some great deals around. This one of Stan's 60, I think 70,000 Ks, no problems, not a single thing. Stan's on board tonight, and Twiggy's there. That makes it, the whole package, a hell of a lot more attractive. This is what buying and running and driving EVs is all about. We love this shot and we love your adventures, Stan. Thanks for coming on board. Down to the top 3 now, and it gets probably a little bit predictable because we are now reflecting probably the sales of the new cars now. Sorry, of the used EV market now. The top 3, this is the top 3, and the BYD Atto 3 is right up there, and it's holding its value reasonably well. This one is a really peculiar model. It's a bargain, but it's done 170,000 Ks. An Uber driver did in 2 years what probably most people would take 8 years to do. I'm just amazed by this, that the batteries are lasting so much longer than everybody thought. There's very few problems. Yes, isolated issues, packs are going, packs are being replaced. Here's a car that's done 180,000 Ks, Ubering 3/4 of the day, non-stop for 2 years. It's done 8-9 years of life. And perhaps and potentially someone else can get another life out of it, another 100,000. We still don't know. We're entering territory now with some of these cars. Perhaps in China, there's models that have done more, but we're getting up to, wait till we get to 200,000 or 300,000 Ks without any problems. There'll be some battery degradation. We'll get some tests done. We'll have a look at it for you. And next week, we're going to take a deep dive into battery testing. And next week will be battery week. Next Wednesday night, we're going to look at batteries all night long. But this one, just a story, absolutely incredible as far as I'm concerned. This car had done that. And there's cars that have done more. Put it out on Facebook. The people have done 200, but brilliant to see a car done that much so quickly. And there's Model 3s in that same bag as well. But we can't get enough listings of the Atto 3s. They're going faster than we can list them. They're selling really well in the secondhand market. There's some great deals out there. There's been an upgrade of the Atto 3 as well, but this is probably a 4 or 5 year old Chinese car that we've had for 3 years here. But they got it right probably first time, BYD, and maybe apart from the guitar strings. on the inside of the doors, which you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, look, style-wise, probably a little bit out there, but they've toned that back in the 801, the 802. It's brilliant cars to come from BYD. Maybe they'll 802 will cut some of the grass of the 803. I don't know, but still doing well and a great deal in the second-hand market. Reliability for you, there's proof in the pudding right there. Number 2 is, of course, the Model Y. This one's for sale on the AmazingEV right at the moment. $40,000 for a 22, fantastic condition Model Y. Yes, I know not everyone's a Tesla lover, and you've got good reason not to be. We own a Tesla Model Y, exactly the same 22 model. We've done over 90,000 Ks, not a single issue. This is the sort of thing you're going to get. It gets us back to the decision where will you buy a brand new EV at 40, 38, the GACs, the Geelys? Will you be buying those cars without the reputation, without the road track record? Will you be back buying something used where you know and you can almost know for sure the infrastructure's there, the parts are going to be there, the servicing's going to be there, the charging's going to be there? We don't know what the answer to that question is, but there's decisions out there, and this is leading the way. So that's why the Tesla Model Y was the biggest selling car in 2022. Yes, it's outselling the Model 3 significantly now, but it's catching up on the used market to the Tesla Model 3. So it's our number 2 used EV, and probably number 2 sales-wise for the year for 2025 as well, outright. And, of course, our number 1 EV of the year 2025 is Tesla Model 3. Well, the whole lot of reason this car is number 1 at the moment. No doubt that'll change in the years to come, but right at the moment, there's so many available that it's a fantastic option because it means there's clear price brackets developing with this car, and you can have some certainty about the model of the year and what you can sell it for. Now, depreciation is one thing we'll get to in another day, but at the moment, having that choice out there means that people are some clear price brackets for buyers to know exactly what, and sellers to know exactly what they can get and what they can pay for a 21, 22, given a certain amount of Ks. This is a fantastic car, this 2021 for 28 Ks. Again, talk about value and talk about price parity. It's here right now. This is right here, right now. Price parity with ICE cars. And this is, if anything, this whole top 10 is all about the value that you can get from used EVs right now, right at the moment. It's not next year. It's not 2027. It's right now. It's here, and it's only going to get better. The new cars are coming. Used EVs are getting better value. We're going to be here to make sure that we're covering it and we can offer them to you. The Model 3, for some people, may not be in their top 10. It's a great car. It's our number 1. It's the biggest selling used EV in Australia in 2025. Thanks for joining me. And after the break, we'll go to another break now, take another cruise around the AmazingEV website. Mrs. Amazing will join us for our predictions for 2026. Can we do it? Welcome back and Happy New Year's Eve, Mrs. Amazing. How, how are you?
Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Everyone's been commenting Happy New Year on those comments,
Happy
Roscoe.
New
So
Year. Thanks for
Happy New
joining us, Dan. Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Ross. We're going to build this from the ground up, and thanks for joining us on New Year's Eve. So it's excellent, great to be with you. It's, looking forward to just having a quiet glass of something a bit later on, and we'll watch the fireworks as well. So
I've cracked open the non-alcoholic Bundaberg ginger beer.
thank you. We'll look forward to that. I've been
Okay.
3 years alcohol free and I'm feeling a hell of a lot better for it, everybody. So it allows me to do this crazy stuff and get up tomorrow morning and do it again. So, but here, let's have a look at the predictions. What a year it's been. So many things happening. We're not going to do a recap of this year. There's just too much happened and it's hard to keep track of what's going on. More models, more cars, more everything. We went from a year ago of having not enough cars and now there's too many. Bring it on, I say. The more cars we've got, the merrier, and they're being upgraded faster and faster. And that's the first of my predictions for 2026. The used EV market, I think, is going to probably double in size. It's currently 25, 30 odd thousand cars. It's 1.5% of the whole used car market in Australia, but I think it's going to double. I think it's going to really take off next year. What do you think?
Absolutely, Roscoe. Couldn't agree more. And I think a lot of that will have to do with the fact that a lot of cars are coming to end of lease. So a lot of those 2022, 2023 cars that were picked up on lease. So that's going to mean, I think, anyway,
Yeah.
there'll be a lot more EVs out there, which
Oh, for
is a
sure.
good thing
That's
for our
right, and those FBT benefits are still in place. But yeah, that once that FBT was introduced almost 3 years ago, those cars coming off lease, a whole catalyst of that's a big catalyst for cars coming back onto the market again as people just say goodbye. They've got to sell them. That sometimes it's some private sellers have got to sell them. They might go through various channels of auctions, but yeah, they're going to make their way onto the used car market and people are going to upgrade to new ones as those leases expire. I'm just excited because it's a lot of the new brands that are coming on to the market as well mean that a lot of people are experimenting with other brands now as well, and they're selling their Teslas and they're selling their BYDs as well. So that means for us in the used market, some great deals for EV buyers as well. A bit more of the same at the moment, but we're already starting to see some small examples of Xpungs and a few other smaller brands, a few Zeekas, a few Volvos. Some of those cars are coming onto the market as well. But yeah, I just expect the pure volume to really explode. To really, we weren't going to use that word. To really expand. EVs do not explode. They do not explode. Really take off in 2026.
use that soundbite, Roscoe. I can see it
Hmm.
now.
And that brings us to our next point. With more brands available, I can see that although we've had a lot join the market in the last 12 months, 18 months, and people have almost, in some cases, the critics have said there's too many brands. I think we're going to get more. I think there's still a lot more cars to come.
I agree, Roscoe, and a lot of those cars will come from China. They won't
Yeah.
necessarily come from the US or other markets. I think we've already seen an influx,
Mm.
or we've seen a lot of cars coming out of China, but I think more of those will actually make it into the Australian market. As Ross mentioned in the comments earlier, when just having a bit of a go at us, perhaps a nice go, about our preference or our wish to have a Taycan, because he
Mm.
said, "What about the Xiaomi SU7?"
Mm. Yeah.
Uh, and I said that would be one that we wouldn't mind either.
I know. I'm not sure if Ross missed when we covered his questions earlier on in the inbox, but yeah, I would love to see those here too. And Xiaomi's right on top of my list as well for a car manufacturer that's come out of the box literally so quickly. Great, huge following with Xiaomi in terms of appliances, phones, and a lot of people joke about it, but I think won't be laughing for much longer. If we see or saw those cars, they wouldn't laugh about it being an appliance or a phone company or a vacuum cleaner company anymore. That sort of deflection is not working. I think that covers a bit of fear because those cars are going to be magnificent. And I don't think we're going to see them here, because they've sold out so quick in China. I just don't think we're going to see them here in right-hand drive version. And whether you can import them in the grey market, or you'll be lucky to maybe you can get your hands on one. But yeah, it might be left-hand drive for a while. The catalyst is when those cars like Neo are starting to be built in right-hand drive versions and for different markets around the world. When they've got the investment to build the right-hand drive version, then we can start to look at to see whether we might see it in Australia or not. And so, as long as we can follow the trends of the right-hand drive markets, and if those brands are entering the right-hand drive markets, then we'll see them. But yeah, more brands, and Neo Firefly is one that seems to be on the radar at the moment. And again, that small car market. Again, we might, with the BYD Atto 1 or Seagull, that trend towards smaller cars as well as part of that new brands is something that I think we're going to continue to see. So smaller cars, more brands, more choice, bring it on. I want to see as many choice cars as possible. I've got a long elongated comment about the existing OEMs being very selective about the cars that they've brought to Australia and deciding what we do or don't have. And there's strange things happen. There's some cars already in New Zealand that have been, and we've never got them here. And they've been in New Zealand for 6 months now, a much smaller market. Very interesting the way they decide what does and doesn't come to Australia. But there's always been more choice when I've gone to New Zealand and Auckland about many cars, many different brands, and seeing them launch there first. But let's leave it at that. Here's one for you. I think we've reached peak ute. Right? Off the EV topic already, well, it was part of a bigger EV conversation. I think we've reached peak ute. And by that I mean there's so many utes entering the ute market at the moment, which has been dominated by Toyota and Ford, that yes, I'd love to see, and I can't wait to see. And we did a YouTube video 6 months ago about the EV utes that are coming. Toyota wasn't part of that conversation at that stage, but it's going to be in future, reluctantly going to be part of that conversation. Lots of dedicated EV utes are coming. I hope they're going to be used for trade and guys going to building sites and chucking things in the back and using them as utes. And I think there'll be more segmentation towards this SUVs for off-road, either luxury or just pure utilitarian, not a converted ute. And there's so many, I think we're at peak ute because so many are entering that market just as it peaks. And I think we're going to come off that peak ute in 2026, and we're going to head towards more SUVs as part of the whole total new market. So that'll flow. Look, I can't wait to see EV utes, and I could breathe and have a look at the comments. Joe's chimed in that, yeah, the US market is very interesting, still trying to North Americanize here. Yeah, I think we'll see less of that as they head more American over there. I think we'll start to come back from that Americanization. The big ones, the Rams, have wound back their sales. They're not growing as fast. In fact, they've stopped growing. But what do you think of utes, big utes, Josie?
I'm well, yeah, not really a fan actually of the big ute. No,
Which brings us to our next point: is do you think
but it's not my thing.
No,
For me, Roscoe, I don't think I'd be able to drive one. But if you have a ute, that's go for it. Totally fine.
Yeah, look, and I know we see a few BYD Sharks around, and they're too big for inner city Sydney and where we live, and in some of the inner west in the inner city, it's too big for that. It's a great car, not for me. Too big. And it's a hybrid. It's a hybrid as well. So I'm sorry, BYD, not on board with the Shark. But look, that's a story for another day. But that leads us on to our next prediction: is do you think we'll see the Cybertruck here in Australia or not next year?
I don't think that we will, Roscoe. I don't think it's going to make it, regardless of what's been said. Over the social media channels, I don't think it's going to get here. I can't see it happening.
No, I don't think so as well.
Too big, and I think we need smaller cars, smaller EVs. And yeah,
Yeah, I'd like, as I say, yeah, Geely have got the Radara coming up. There's a couple on the horizon. Toyota are teasing us, but yeah, I think the Radara is already in New Zealand. All right, as Joe points out, I don't know what the delay is. I don't know what the hold up is, but bring it out, price it nicely. I think we'll start to see a return to guys using utes as workhorses, and that's my prediction for 2026. The other big one is self-driving, and yeah, look, it's got nothing to do with used EVs. Here's a marketplace of ownership, and I think Parallel is going to develop a real market of more self-driving rideshare. I think we'll go down the rideshare path, self-driving rideshare path, much quicker than we thought. I don't think it's a 26 one, but it's a 27, 28 one. They're talking to the government at the moment here about it. Uber drivers, I've driven Uber, I've been out there. I wouldn't be staking my claim on an Uber job in 5 years' time. Maybe not next year, but within 18 months, 2 years, I think we'll have self-driving as part of the Uber fleet. And in the meantime, EVs will probably and cars will be part of the normal ownership experience for most people here. They'll still want a small car, a big car, something that they can call their own. Don't ask me if that's the same in 10 years' time, but maybe that's looking a long way out. And Josephine, is there anything that you wish is in your wish list for 2026?
well, Roscoe, I just wish that the rest of the world might take a leaf out of the EV community's book. And when I say leaf, that's perhaps a Nissan leaf might be the case. But I think the EV community and the people that we've had the chance to work with and meet this year have been incredible. This EV community is incredibly kind and supportive, and everyone's willing to share knowledge. You know, if you think about all the EVs out there, the EVs we've talked about, it's a diverse space. There's lots of different EVs, different brands, from your Cybertrucks to the luxury brands to the smaller cars, which I love. But at the end of the day, regardless of the type of EV that you like or might buy, the entire community tends to support each other. And I think for 2026, I'd like to see some of that love and support rub off on the rest of the world.
Exactly. I know, and that's a beautiful sentiment, because that's everything we've experienced in this community has reinforced that for me as well. I just felt, included from day one, ever since. And if you find your people, you find your people. So let's wrap up our predictions for 2026. If anyone's got anything in the comments, anything they'd like to say, reading this later on, hearing this later on Catch Up or tonight, put it there in the comments. We'll come back to you. We'll be following up the next couple of days as well. Thanks, Josephine. I'll see you in an hour or so for a little snack and a drink. And
Thanks, everyone, and Happy New Year. Have a great 2026, but we'll see you again next week, I guess.
I hope so, Josephine. Thank you. Night.
See ya.
So that wraps up our show for this week. And hey, thanks for joining us. Thanks to those guys, Stan, Ross, Joe. Really appreciate you having on board. It's great to have your support. We can only build this. Next week, we're going to have Nathan Gore-Brown on. He's agreed to come on, talk about battery testing and all things battery, whether you're looking for a used EV or caring for a new EV. He can tell it, well, and for that matter, a new EV turns into a used EV the day you drive it home. So looking after your battery testing for buying and selling, battery health, battery care, the people at Avalou that he represents have got a ton of data. Look forward to spending most of next week talking about batteries as well. Hal 9000, thanks for coming on board, guys. Really appreciate it. Appreciate the support. Hopefully it's something that you get something out of and can contribute to. We'll lock this in as EV Wednesday night. We'll be here at 6:30. Ludicrous feed with Tom and the gang. We'll be here at 9 o'clock-ish. There's a ton in between to consume, but let's lock this in as Wednesday night, as EV night. I'll leave you and say Happy New Year. For those that are watching on Happy New Year's Eve, for those who are watching tonight, and for those that are watching a bit later on, Happy New Year. I'll leave you with last year's fireworks care of Sydney City Council from 2025. Here they are, and Happy New Year, everybody.